Chapter 1. Family's Deception. The hot soup was the best thing Nana had tasted in years. For the first time since high school, her mother had cooked a meal just for her. Her mother sat across the table, smiling gently. She even reached over to brush a piece of hair from Nana's face. "Eat up, Nana," her mother said softly. Her eyes looked so kind. "You worked so hard looking for a job every day." Nana felt a warm tear slide down her cheek. She loved her family so much. Even though they never appreciated her love, tonight they behaved like the family she always wished she had. Her father even smiled at her and poured her a glass of water. Her spoiled little brother, Kim, was quietly eating his food without complaining. But then, the room started to spin. Nana dropped her spoon. It made a loud clack on the wooden table. Her hands felt like heavy stones. Her vision became blurry. "Mom?" Nana whispered. Her voice sounded slow and thick. "I feel funny." Her mother jumped up from her chair. Her face was full of sudden panic. "Nana, what is wrong? Are you sick?" Her father rushed over and held her shoulders. He looked terrified. "Hang in there, sweetie. Let me help you up." "Dad," Nana gasped. Her eyes were closing. She felt so weak, but as she looked at her parents' worried faces, she felt safe. They were finally acting like real parents. They were taking care of her. As the dark sleep pulled her under, her last thought was a happy one. They really do love me. Welcome to my channel, new and old viewers. We have to pause right here because that was insane. Let me ask you, do you think her parents are actually trying to help her, or did they just commit the ultimate betrayal? Drop your guesses in the comments below. I am sad that this channel hasn't been doing well. And I am discouraged. It is very hard to create even one story, but due to my few dedicated audience, I choose to continue. Please encourage me by commenting and also subscribing. It would mean the absolute world to me if you hit that subscribe button and share this story with your friends. Let's get right back into the story. When Nana opened her eyes again, as she looked around, she noticed that she was in a strange room. She saw a giant crystal chandelier. She sat up fast, but her head pounded. She gasped. She was lying on a huge bed with soft, silk sheets. The room was massive, like a palace. There were beautiful paintings on the walls and a giant window showing a dark night sky. "Where am I?" she whispered as she remembered what had happened to her the previous night. Did her parents bring her to a fancy private hospital? She threw the blanket off and walked toward the big wooden door. She reached for the gold handle to go find her mom and dad. "If I were you, I would not try that." The deep, manly voice made Nana jump. She spun around, her heart racing. A man was standing near the bathroom door. He had just stepped out of the shower. He only had a white towel wrapped around his waist and another smaller towel around his neck. He was drying his wet, dark hair. Nana froze. The man was very handsome. He had beautiful bronze skin and strong muscles. For a second, Nana could not breathe because he looked so perfect. But she was too confused to care. "Who are you? Where are my parents?" Nana demanded. She stood tall, trying to look brave. The man let out a low chuckle. The sound was smooth, like dark chocolate. He did not answer her. Nana grabbed the door handle and pulled it open to escape. But she stopped dead in her tracks. 3 huge, scary-looking men in black suits were standing right outside the door. They glared at her. Nana quickly stepped back inside and slammed the door shut. She turned back to the handsome man. Her anger was growing. "What's going on here? And where are my parents?" Nana yelled. "It seems your parents didn't inform you well," the man said calmly. Nana froze. Her anger turned into cold fear. "What do you mean?" The man stopped drying his hair. He walked slowly toward her. His dark eyes looked at her with a mix of pity and danger. He kept walking closer until her back hit the cold wall. He stepped right in front of her. "Your parents sold you to me, to pay off their debts," he whispered softly. "No." Nana shook her head hard. Tears filled her eyes. "You're lying. They were so worried about me when I was about to pass out." "That's your own problem to handle," the man said smoothly. "They wanted money for your brother to go to school. So, they sold you to me. I gave them the money and they gave me you." Nana's heart broke into a million pieces. Nana knew that her family was not loving enough, but she never thought that they could pull off something as despicable and shameless as this. Which parents sell their daughter to get another child to go to school? She felt sick to her stomach. She meant nothing to them. Be obedient, the man said. His face was only an inch from hers. Do not dream of running away. My money paid for you. He pulled back, gave her one last sharp look, and walked out of the room. He left Nana alone to cry over the family she had just lost forever. Nana was alone. The heavy wooden door clicked shut. The sound echoed in the massive room. She fell to her knees. Hot tears streamed down her face. Her own parents had sold her like she was some commodity that could be traded. Her heart felt like it was bleeding. She trusted them, and they threw her to a monster. She cried until she couldn't produce any tears anymore. She thought about her childhood. When her mother gave birth to her brother, her father and mother stopped treating her like they used to. They pampered her before, but when her little brother arrived, they began to treat her like a maid. Not anymore. Nana whispered with a determined facial expression. Since it has come to this, I won't be used as a sacrificial lamb. The sadness stopped. A hot, burning anger took its place. Nana wiped her eyes fiercely. She stood up. Her hands curled into tight fists. She was not a weak girl. She would not let some rich, arrogant man lock her in a cage. She had to run. She had to find a way to escape. She looked around the giant room. Her eyes landed on a huge closet. She ran to it and threw the doors open. Inside, there were dozens of dresses. They were made of silk, lace, and diamonds. They looked like they cost $1 million, but Nana did not care. She grabbed a long red dress. She pulled it hard. The expensive fabric ripped with a loud sound. She grabbed another dress. And another. She tied the thick pieces of silk together. She made tight, strong knots. She pulled them hard to make sure they would hold her weight. Her hands were shaking, but she did not stop. Soon, she had a very long rope made of beautiful, ruined gowns. Nana walked to the giant window. She pushed it open. A cold night wind hit her face. She looked down. The ground was very far away. If she fell, she would die. She swallowed the hard lump of fear in her throat. She tied one end of the silk rope to the heavy leg of the bed. She threw the other end out the window. The rope danced in the dark wind. God, please do not let anyone catch me, she whispered. Especially that handsome devil. Nana climbed onto the windowsill. She grabbed the silk rope tightly. She slowly lowered herself into the empty air. Her arms screamed in pain. The silk was slippery. Her palms burned like fire. She did not look down. She just kept climbing down, inch by inch. Finally, her feet hit the hard stone of the outside terrace. She let go of the rope. She took a deep breath. She was outside. She looked around. The night was pitch black. She took a quiet step forward toward freedom. I have wild animals around. Nana froze. Her blood ran cold. If you want to be devoured, you can leave. Nana spun around. There, sitting in the deep shadows of the terrace, was the handsome man. He was sitting in a dark leather chair. He had a cup in his hand. He took a slow sip of his coffee. He looked completely relaxed. He did not look angry. He did not even look surprised. Nana's anger boiled over. What do you want from me? She yelled into the dark night. The man chuckled. That dark, rich sound filled the air. You should have asked me that from the start, he said smoothly. He put his coffee cup down. But you decided to play a foolish game. He stood up. He was so tall. He looked like a king of the dark. Just know this, he said softly. I own you now. He turned around and walked back into the giant house. He left the glass door open. He did not even try to stop her. Nana stood alone in the dark. She breathed heavily. He is bluffing, she told herself. He is just trying to scare me with fake animals. Mr. Devil, I am not afraid of animals. She turned her back to the house. She walked into the thick, dark trees. The wind howled. Every shadow looked like a monster. But she kept walking. She wanted her freedom. Suddenly, a sound ripped through the silent night. It was a loud, vicious bark. It was not a normal dog. It sounded like a giant, Hungry beast. The growl shook the ground beneath Nana's feet. She stopped moving. Her eyes went wide. She saw glowing eyes in the dark bushes. Huge, sharp teeth shone in the moonlight. The beast was ready to attack. Anyone else would have run away screaming. Anyone else would have run back to the house to beg for help. But Nana did not run. A strange feeling washed over her. Her legs moved on their own. Instead of running back, she took a slow step forward. She walked right towards the deadly beast. High up in the mansion, the handsome man was standing by the glass window. His name was Jackson. He watched everything in the dark yard. He saw his giant, killer beast. He saw the tiny girl walking right up to it. Nobody had ever dared to go near that animal. Everyone was terrified of it. Jackson's dark eyes narrowed. A slow, chilling smile spread across his handsome face. "It is really you," Jackson whispered to the empty room. "I finally found you." He brought out his phone from his pants pocket to make a call. "Hello, boss," the voice said from the other end of the line. "I don't want her out of your sight. Make sure she's safe, and she shouldn't suffer even a little bit." "I understand, boss," the voice said, and then Jackson ended the call and then went inside. Nana had a secret she hadn't told anyone. Her parents always told her she owed them because they paid for her university. That was a big lie. Nana paid for her own school. She did it by working a secret job. Nana was a trained animal doctor, a veterinarian. She had studied it in secret. She knew her greedy parents would take her money if they found out. She spent years secretly working as a veterinarian to pay her own school fees. She knew exactly how to tame wild beasts. So, when the giant dog barked at her in the dark yard, Nana did not panic. She knew exactly what to do. She made herself look small. She did not look the angry beast in the eyes. Slowly, she held out her shaking hand. She made a soft, clicking sound with her tongue. The giant beast stopped growling. It tilted its huge head. It slowly walked up to her and sniffed her hand. Then, the terrifying monster whined like a little puppy. Nana gently rubbed its big, scary head. She did not wait for the handsome man to come out. She turned and ran into the dark night. She ran until her feet bled and she reached the bright city lights of Seoul. She went straight to her best friend's apartment. Sophia was a beautiful, smart black woman from Atlanta. When Sophia saw Nana's torn dress and dirty face, she pulled her inside and locked the door tight. Nana cried and told Sophia everything. She told her about her cruel parents and the handsome devil who bought her. Sophia hugged her tight. "You are safe now," Sophia promised. "But you need money to hide. My company is looking for a personal assistant for the CEO. You are very smart, Nana. You can get this job." Nana wiped her tears and nodded. She needed money to disappear. Though she is a veterinarian doctor, but she no longer have patients as much as she had before. She needed a job that can earn her more money. For now, she has decided to work as an employee. When she has enough money, she would open her own veterinary hospital. Chapter 2: The Marriage Certificate. Nana turned the heavy brass doorknob. The door clicked and swung open. The CEO's office was massive. The floors were black marble. A giant glass wall looked out over the busy city of Seoul. The room was freezing cold. Behind a long glass desk, a man sat in a high-backed leather chair. The chair was turned around. He was looking out the window, his broad back facing the door. Nana swallowed hard. She stepped inside and held the coffee cup tightly. "You are late on your first day at work." The deep, smooth voice echoed off the glass walls. Nana froze. The hairs on her arms stood up. She knew that dark, rich voice. It was the exact same voice from the mansion last night. The tall leather chair slowly spun around. Sitting behind the desk, resting his chin on his hands, was Jackson Ville. His dark eyes locked onto her face. "You!" Nana gasped. Her anger exploded again. The coffee cup shook in her hands. "Are you stalking me even in my boss's office?" Just then, the office door opened again. Mr. Jang walked in with a stack of thick folders. He did not look at Nana. He walked straight to the desk and bowed deeply to the man sitting in the chair. "Boss," Mr. Jang said respectfully. "Here are the reports you asked for." Mr. Jang turned to Nana. "Miss Nana, please place the coffee on the desk for CEO Ville." The world stopped spinning. The air left Nana's lungs. She looked at Mr. Jang. Then she looked at the silver name tag on the desk. Jackson Ville, Chief Executive Officer. Her brain finally put the pieces together. The man who bought her. The man in the hallway. The man who owned this entire company. They were all the same person. She had just slapped her billionaire boss in front of his entire staff. The coffee cup rattled against the saucer. Nana's legs gave out. She dropped to her knees right there on the cold marble floor. I am so sorry, Nana stammered. Her voice shook with pure panic. Mr. Ville, I did not know. Please forgive me. I was rude. Please do not fire me. Mr. Jang frowned. He looked at Jackson, confused. But fear won't let him ask his boss what was going on. Jackson stood up slowly. He buttoned his expensive suit jacket. He looked down at Nana with a completely blank face. Leave us, Mr. Jang, Jackson ordered. Mr. Jang bowed again and quickly left the room. The heavy door clicked shut. They were completely alone. Nana kept her head down. I am sorry, she whispered again. Jackson walked around the glass desk. He stopped right in front of her. His shiny black shoes touched her knees. He reached down, grabbed her arms firmly, and pulled her up to her feet. You do not need to apologize to me, Jackson said softly. After all, you are my dear wife. Nana yanked her arms away. She stared at him in pure bewilderment. What are you talking about? Jackson did not answer. He reached into his suit pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. He handed it to her. Nana took it from his hands. She unfolded it quickly. It was the same paper Mr. Jang had given her to sign before the interview. But she finally read the words at the top. Marriage contract. Underneath the big letters, it said she legally belonged to Jackson Ville. And at the very bottom was her own clear signature. Her face twisted in horror. She grabbed the edges of the thick paper and ripped it into tiny pieces. She threw the torn shreds onto the floor. You tricked me, she yelled, stepping back. I will not marry you against my will. I am not working here anymore. I quit. She spun around and reached for the door handle. Jackson let out a low, dark chuckle. Whether you were tricked or not is none of my business, Jackson said casually. He walked back to his chair and sat down. That was just a copy. The real one is locked away. Walk out that door, Nana. But prepare to spend the next 10 years in a cold prison for breaking a legal contract. Nana's hand stopped on the brass knob. She squeezed her eyes shut. He was a powerful billionaire. If he took that paper to any judge in Seoul, he would win. She had no money for a lawyer. She was trapped. She slowly turned back around to face him. Fine, Nana spat bitterly. She walked back to his desk. She slammed her hands flat on the cold glass. She glared right into his dark eyes. I will stay, but only on 2 conditions. Jackson raised one eyebrow. He looked amused. Go on. First, she demanded, nobody in this office can know about this stupid contract. We keep our relationship a secret. Second, I will never, ever bear a child for you. Jackson stared at her fiery eyes. A slow, cunning smile stretched across his handsome face. He nodded his head once. Agreed, he said softly. Nana frowned. He agreed too easily. Jackson leaned forward, pressing his hands against the glass desk until his face was inches from hers. But you really should have read the fine print, my sweet wife, Jackson whispered. The contract says you are only trapped here until you give me a son. No baby, no freedom. Wait. Did he just say, no baby, no freedom? She signed a marriage contract without even reading it, and now she is trapped until she gives this man a son. I cannot, okay? I need you to stop scrolling right now. Drop a comment and tell me, if you were Nana, what would you do? Would you find a way out, or would you play his game and beat him at it? Because I have a feeling Nana is not going to take this lying down. Let's keep going. When the work was over, Nana met Sophia at the garage parking lot. Sophia noticed the sad facial expression that her friend wore. What's wrong, Nana? Sophia asked as Nana approached her. It's nothing, I will be fine. Nana replied with a low mood. Just then, a limo honked and the 2 ladies turned towards the direction. Get in, Jackson said to Nana. I am not coming with you, Nana said to Jackson. If you don't get in right now, I might spill your little secret," Jackson said to Nana while grinning from ear to ear. Nana didn't want anyone to know about the contract she had with Jackson, so she got in immediately while leaving her friend Sophia in suspense. Nana stood in the grand hallway of the Ville mansion. She didn't see the mansion very well the last time she arrived because she was too busy trying to escape, but now she could see the full glory of this magnificent mansion. The floor was made of shiny white marble. A massive crystal chandelier hung above her head. It was the most beautiful house she had ever seen, but to Nana, it felt like a giant prison. Heavy footsteps echoed on the stairs. Jackson walked down slowly. He had taken off his suit jacket and tie. The top 2 buttons of his white shirt were undone. He looked relaxed, powerful, and dangerously handsome. He stopped right in front of her. He was so tall that Nana had to look up. He smelled like expensive mint and dark wood. "Welcome home, my sweet wife," Jackson whispered. A lazy, wicked smirk played on his lips. Nana tightened her grip on her bag. She glared at him. "Do not call me that. You forced me into an agreement with you. This is just a contract." Jackson chuckled. He took a slow step forward. Nana's breath hitched. She expected him to grab her, to force her into his arms like a cruel boss. She squeezed her eyes shut, ready to fight him off. Instead, she felt a gentle touch on her cheek. Jackson slowly tucked a loose piece of hair behind her ear. His fingers were warm against her cold skin. He leaned down until his lips were right next to her ear. "I remember the rules, Nana," he murmured softly. "I will not force you to do anything. But remember the fine print. You will come to me willingly when you want your freedom." He pulled back, gave her a knowing wink, and walked past her toward the kitchen. He left Nana standing there with a racing heart and burning cheeks. A week passed. Living in the mansion was a confusing game. Jackson kept his promise. He gave her a massive bedroom all to herself. He never forced his way inside. But he flirted with her constantly. He would brush his hand against hers at the breakfast table. He would give her deep, lingering looks that made her stomach do flips. Nana had to build a strong wall around her heart so she would not fall for his games. But if the mansion was a confusing game, the office was a total nightmare. Nana sat at her small desk outside the CEO's massive doors. She was typing a long report. Her neck hurt. She had not taken a break all morning. Suddenly, a loud slam made her jump. A giant stack of messy files hit her desk. The papers scattered everywhere. Nana looked up. Standing over her was Lisa. Lisa was the head of marketing. She wore a tight, bright pink dress and too much perfume. Her red lips were curled into a nasty sneer. "Type all of these before lunch," Lisa commanded. She crossed her arms, tapping her long, sharp red nails against her arm. Nana frowned. She looked at the mountain of papers. "Miss Lisa, I am the CEO's personal assistant. I do not type marketing files. You have your own team for that." Lisa leaned over the desk. Her dark eyes flashed with pure hatred. "Listen to me, you little whore," Lisa hissed, her voice dropping to a harsh whisper. "You think you are so special just because you sit outside his door? I am his most trusted employee. Mr. Jackson and I are childhood sweethearts. I won't let you take him away from me, so you better think twice before doing anything stupid." Nana's heart skipped a beat. Did Lisa know about the marriage? No, that was impossible. Mr. Jackson wouldn't do something like that. "I do not know what you are talking about," Nana said firmly. She tried to hand the files back. Lisa shoved Nana's hand away hard. The sharp edge of a folder cut Nana's finger. A tiny drop of blood appeared. "Jackson is mine," Lisa snarled. She pointed a sharp red nail right at Nana's face. "He belongs to me. If you try to steal his attention, I will make your life a living hell. Do the work, or I will tell the whole company you're a whore trying to seduce the boss." Lisa spun around on her high heels and marched away. Nana sat alone at her desk. She wrapped a tissue around her bleeding finger. The paper cut stung sharply. She looked at the giant pile of extra work. She was already exhausted, her finger hurt, and now she had a cruel enemy who wanted to destroy her. During lunch, Sophia met Nana at the cafeteria. Nana has been avoiding her after the incident with their boss, so she wanted to really know what was going on. "Hi Nana, what's up?" Sophia asked Nana as she sat opposite to her seat. Nana gave her a fake smile and nodded like she was okay. "Girl, what's really going on? You have been behaving so weirdly, and I am tired of being in the dark. Or don't you trust me anymore?" Nana took a deep breath while playing with the food she hasn't even eaten yet. "It's not like that, Safi. Remember the day I ran to your apartment and also told you that my parents sold me off to a handsome devil?" Nana asked. "Yeah, I remember. But what does it have to do with this topic?" "The man they sold me to is Mr. Jackson Ville," Nana said with a whisper, and Sophia covered her mouth in shock. "What? I can't believe this!" Sophia exclaimed loudly. "Please keep your voice down. Someone might hear you. Look, right now I am trying to wriggle my way out of this whole mess, but the contract I signed has made my escape impossible," Nana said with a frustrated facial expression. "What do you mean? Which contract did you sign?" Sophia asked. "That monster made me sign a marriage contract with him. And I can't undo it until I give him a son. This is insane. Why didn't you tell me this sooner?" Sophia asked. "What would you have done? Go and confront him? He is more powerful than any of us," Nana replied helplessly. Just as they were talking, Lisa walked towards their table with her two friends. "Girls, we will teach this ingrate what it feels to be humiliated in public," Lisa said to her friends. Before Nana could register what was happening, Lisa gave Nana a hot slap. "Lisa, what was that for?" Sophia asked Lisa, who pushed her aside to face Nana. But before Lisa could even take 2 steps, she received a hot slap on her cheek. "What do you take me for, Lisa? You think you can bully me and get scot-free? Well, if that's what you think, then you have something else coming. This is your last warning, leave me alone. If you are madly in love with the boss, then you should go and confess to him and stop bothering me." Other employees gathered to witness the show as they heard the commotion. Some even videoed while some took pictures. "Did you just slap me?" Lisa asked while holding her cheek. "No, I just romanced your cheek," Nana replied sarcastically. "Girls, I want you to teach this bitch a lesson for me," Lisa ordered her friends, but none dared to move. "Aren't you two listening to me? Teach her a lesson," Lisa ordered them again. "Lisa, I haven't finished the work that I was doing, so let me go and finish up. Maybe when I'm back, I can then face her." Before Lisa could say anything, her two friends disappeared. "Don't think this is over. I will make your life a living hell for what you did to me today," Lisa said angrily before storming out of the cafeteria. Nana started hearing different whispers. This is the only girl that has been able to challenge Lisa. Yeah, she's really strong. I would like to see what Lisa plans next though. "Nana, don't mind Lisa, she is just a freak," Sophia said to Nana in a comforting tone. "I was about to ask you about her before she stormed in. What's her relationship with Mr. Jackson?" Nana asked as she sat down. "Her father is one of the shareholders in this company. Her father wanted her to come and learn some business tactics from Mr. Jackson, but along the line, she fell madly in love with him. Anyone who gets close to Jackson, she considers that person as a threat," Sophia explained. "I see. Let's just eat. I have more important work to do," Nana said to Sophia, who nodded at her, and they began to eat their food. "Okay, real talk, I need to pause here for a second and be honest with you. This channel is at risk of going silent. My views have been so low that I have been told to stop uploading. But I look at this story, I look at Nana fighting back against everyone who underestimates her, and I think I cannot give up either. If this story has made you feel anything, excitement, anger at Lisa, curiosity about Jackson, please hit that subscribe button right now and share this video with just one person. One share could change everything for this channel. I am not ready to abandon Nana's story. Are you? Let's finish this chapter together." After the lunch, Nana hurriedly went back with Sophia because she had a place to go with Jackson. It was supposed to be a business date with a powerful businessman. As she stepped into Jackson's office, she heard him talking to someone on the phone. She didn't sit, she stood until he was done with his call. Jackson walked toward where she stood as he ended the call. Nana thought he wanted to flirt with her again, so she got ready to avoid him, but to her surprise, Jackson bypassed her and walked towards the door. He got to the door and then locked it. "You're late for our meeting. How should I punish you?" Jackson asked Nana with a flirtatious smile. "We still have about 30 minutes, so how am I late?" Nana asked Jackson. Jackson came closer and then seized her lips. Nana tried to fight him off, but her strength wasn't a match for him. Jackson sucked Nana's lips like a lollipop. Nana stopped struggling and then succumbed to the kiss. Along the line, Jackson carried Nana to his table and placed her on top of his desk. She wanted to protest, but Jackson sealed her lips with his immediately. Nana didn't know when she got into the whole passionate moment. Just when she wanted to ask for more, Jackson stopped and then smirked at her. "You were sure enjoying every bit of this, wifey." Nana realized herself and then covered her face in shame. "You don't need to be ashamed of your husband's touch. I just gave you a befitting punishment for you being late. Next time, I will not only kiss you, but I will make sure you scream and beg for more." Jackson whispered in Nana's ears before taking her down from his table. "I told you I am not late, Mr. Grumpy," Nana said to Jackson while sticking her tongue out in a comic way. Jackson chuckled and then tapped her hair gently. Just then, Jackson noticed a small plaster on Nana's finger. The playful smirk vanished from his face. His dark eyes instantly turned as cold and hard as black ice. "What happened to your hand?" Jackson asked. His voice was very quiet, but it sounded like a deadly warning. Nana quickly hid her hand behind her back. She did not want his help. She wanted to show him she was strong. "It's nothing. I got injured due to my carelessness," replied to him. Jackson reached out and gently grabbed her arm. He pulled her hand out from behind her back. His jaw tightened. A dangerous muscle ticked in his cheek. "I asked you a question, Nana," he said softly. He did not look angry at her. He looked angry at the world. "Who did this to you?" "Lisa," Nana whispered. She did not know why, but his dark, intense eyes made her tell the truth. "She is the head of marketing. She said if I do not type her files, she will tell everyone I tried to seduce you. I'm afraid she knows about us," Nana said with a worried facial expression. Jackson let go of her hand. He pressed a button on the phone on Nana's desk. "Mr. Jang," Jackson said into the speaker. "Bring Lisa to my office. Now." Nana insisted on leaving before Lisa arrived. Less than a minute later, Lisa walked out of the elevator. She wore her tight pink dress and a giant, fake smile. She walked past Nana, giving her a quick, nasty glare, and walked right into the CEO's office. She left the heavy door open just a little bit. Nana sat frozen in her chair. She could hear everything. "Jackson, you wanted to see me?" Lisa's voice sounded sweet and high-pitched. "I was just finishing a very big project for you. Are these files your big project?" Jackson's voice was as sharp as a knife. "Oh yes." Lisa lied easily. "I gave them to your new assistant to type. She looked so bored out there. I thought I would teach her how to work hard." There was a long, heavy silence. The silence was so scary that Nana stopped breathing. "Lisa," Jackson finally said. His voice was low and cruel. "Miss Nana is my personal assistant. Her job is to work for me. She does not type your garbage. She does not do your lazy work. And she certainly does not take orders from a low-level manager like you." "But, Jack, Lisa stammered. Her sweet voice broke into pure panic. "Pick up your messy files," Jackson ordered. "Carry them back to your desk. If you ever speak to my assistant again, or if you ever drop a single piece of paper on her desk, I will fire you. I will make sure you never work in this city again. Do you understand? And never you call me by my first name again." "Yes, boss." "I am so sorry, boss," Lisa cried softly. Lisa rushed out of the office. Her face was bright red. Her eyes were full of angry tears. She picked up the heavy pile of folders from Nana's desk. Her hands were shaking. She did not look at Nana. She just ran to the elevator and disappeared. Jackson walked out of his office. He held a small, white first aid box in his hand. "Give me your hand," he commanded gently. Nana slowly held out her hand. Jackson took off the plaster. He cleaned the small paper cut with a wet wipe. His large, rough fingers were surprisingly gentle. He placed a small bandage over the cut. His touch sent warm sparks shooting up Nana's arm. She hated how good his hands felt. "Why did you do that?" Nana asked softly. "I told you we have to keep our marriage a secret. Now Lisa will hate me even more." "You are my wife," Jackson said, looking deep into her brown eyes. "Nobody disrespects what belongs to me. Not even in secret. Get your bag. We are going home." "But it is only 2 o'clock and we still have a meeting date with a client," Nana said, looking at the clock on the wall. "My shift is not over." "I am the boss," Jackson said, a tiny smirk returning to his handsome face. "I say your shift is over." They walked to the private elevator together. They went down to the underground parking garage. Jackson's driver was waiting next to a shiny, black luxury car. The driver opened the back door for them. Nana slid into the soft leather seat. Jackson sat right next to her. The car was very big, but with Jackson inside, it felt small. His broad shoulders almost touched hers. He smelled like rich mint and danger. The ride through the busy streets of Seoul was quiet. The rain started to fall, hitting the dark windows of the car. Nana looked out the window. She watched the blurry lights of the city. She thought about her cruel parents. She thought about the wild dog. She thought about the confusing man sitting next to her. He had kidnapped her, but he also protected her. Her brain felt tired from trying to figure him out. The black car finally drove through the giant iron gates of the Ville mansion. The driver parked the car. But before they could even open the doors, the front door of the mansion flew open. Mr. Robinson, one of Jackson's most trusted domestic workers, ran out into the rain. He held a large black umbrella. He looked completely panicked. His tie was crooked, and he was sweating. Jackson rolled down his window. He frowned. "Mr. Robinson? What are you doing at my house? Why do you look so scared?" "Boss," Mr. Robinson said, breathing heavily. "It is an emergency. She is here." "Who is here?" Jackson asked. "Your grandmother," Mr. Robinson gulped. "Madame Ville. She arrived 10 minutes ago. She brought her suitcases. She says she is staying for a week to meet your new bride." Jackson's face turned completely white. The confident, powerful billionaire suddenly looked like a trapped animal. He quickly rolled up the window. He turned to Nana. He grabbed both of her hands tightly. "Listen to me very carefully," Jackson whispered fast. His dark eyes were wide. "My grandmother is the only person in this world I truly respect. She has a bad heart. She cannot handle shocks. She thinks we are deeply in love. She thinks we had a beautiful, secret wedding. You have to play along." Nana's eyes went wide. "What?" "No, I cannot act like I love you." "You have to," Jackson begged. His strong voice was shaking. "If she finds out about the contract, it will break her heart. Please, Nana. You wanted to know the rules of this marriage? This is the biggest rule. When we walk through those doors, you are my sweet, loving wife. Do you understand?" Nana looked at his panicked face. She remembered how he cleaned her bleeding finger just an hour ago. She took a deep breath and nodded slowly. "Fine. But you owe me." Jackson let out a heavy sigh of relief. He let go of her hands. "Thank you." The driver opened the door. Jackson stepped out into the rain. He opened his umbrella and held his hand out to Nana. She took it. His fingers wrapped around hers. They walked up the large stone steps together. When they walked into the grand hallway, the house was silent. All the maids and guards stood in a straight line against the wall. They looked terrified. Sitting in a giant velvet chair in the middle of the room was an old woman. Madame Ville wore a beautiful, dark purple dress. Her white hair was pinned up perfectly. She held a black wooden cane with a silver dog's head on the top. Her eyes were exactly like Jackson's, dark, sharp, and missing nothing. "Grandmother," Jackson said. His voice was warm and happy. He let go of Nana's hand and walked over to hug the old woman. Madame Ville did not hug him back. She hit his leg lightly with her silver cane. "Do not try to charm me, Jackson," the old woman said sharply. Her voice echoed in the big room. "You get married in secret? You do not invite your own grandmother to the wedding? You are a bad grandson." "I am sorry, grandmother," Jackson smiled softly. "We wanted a quiet ceremony. Just the two of us." Madame Ville's sharp eyes finally moved to Nana. She looked Nana up and down, from her borrowed gray suit to her simple shoes. The old woman did not smile. "Come here, child," Madame Ville commanded. Nana's heart hammered against her ribs. She remembered how to handle wild beasts. Do not show fear. Be calm. She put a soft, sweet smile on her face. She walked forward and bowed deeply. "It is an honor to meet you, Madame Ville," Nana said politely. The old woman narrowed her eyes. "You do not look like the rich, spoiled girls Jackson usually dates. You look ordinary. Why did my grandson marry you?" Nana froze. She did not know what to say. How was she supposed to answer that? Before she could panic, Jackson stepped up right behind her. He wrapped his strong arms around her waist. He pulled her back against his hard chest. He rested his chin softly on top of her head. "Because she is not ordinary, grandmother," Jackson said. His voice was so deep and full of fake love that it made Nana shiver. "She is the bravest, smartest woman I have ever met. She tamed my wild heart just like she tamed my guard dog." Madame Ville raised an eyebrow. "Is that true? You love him, child." Nana swallowed hard. She leaned back into Jackson's warm chest. She placed her hands over his large hands resting on her stomach. She forced the biggest, brightest smile she could make. "Yes, grandmother," Nana lied perfectly. "I love him very much. He takes such good care of me." Madame Ville stared at them for a long, quiet minute. Finally, the old woman tapped her cane on the marble floor. "Good," Madame Ville said. "Then let us eat dinner. I want to hear the whole love story. And I want to know when you are giving me a great-grandson." Nana almost choked on her own spit. "A baby?" Jackson just chuckled, kissing the top of Nana's hair. "We are working on it, grandmother." Dinner was the longest meal of Nana's life. The dining table was made of dark, heavy wood. Silver plates and crystal glasses sparkled under the bright lights. The maids served hot soup, roasted duck, and sweet rice. But to Nana, the food tasted like dry sand. Madame Ville sat at the head of the table. She asked a million questions. "Where did you meet?" the old woman asked, sipping her tea. "At a coffee shop," Jackson lied smoothly. He reached over and wiped a tiny drop of soup from the corner of Nana's mouth with his thumb. "She spilled hot coffee on my favorite shirt. I was so angry until I looked into her beautiful eyes." Nana felt her face burn bright red. He was using the true story from The Office to build a fake romance. She had to play along. "Yes," Nana giggled nervously. She picked up a piece of duck with her chopsticks and held it up to Jackson's mouth. He was very grumpy. "But I bought him a new shirt, and he asked me on a date." Jackson smiled, leaning forward to eat the meat from her chopsticks. His lips brushed against the wood. His dark eyes locked onto hers. The look in his eyes was so intense, so full of fire, that Nana forgot to breathe. For a split second, it did not feel like acting. "Well," Madame Ville said, wiping her mouth with a white napkin. "You two seem very happy. I am glad. I am very tired from my trip. I will go to sleep now." "Of course, grandmother." Jackson stood up. "The maids have prepared the guest room for you." "Good," the old woman said, standing up with her cane. "And I expect you two to go straight to bed as well. You need your rest to make that baby." Nana's eyes widened in panic. Ever since she arrived at the mansion, she had slept in her own huge bedroom down the hall. Jackson had his own master bedroom. But they could not tell his grandmother that. Married couples did not sleep in separate rooms. "We will," Jackson said smoothly. He walked around the table and grabbed Nana's hand. "Come, my sweet wife. Let us go to our room." Nana's legs felt like heavy lead. She walked up the grand staircase holding his hand. Madame Ville watched them from the bottom of the stairs to make sure they went into the same room. Jackson pushed open the heavy wooden door of his master bedroom. He pulled Nana inside and quickly locked the door behind them. The click of the lock sounded very loud in the quiet room. The master bedroom was giant. It had dark gray walls, a huge fireplace, and thick, soft carpets. But the only thing Nana could look at was the bed in the middle of the room. It was huge. It had black silk sheets. But it was only one bed. The fake smiles instantly dropped from both of their faces. The warm, loving air turned cold and awkward. Nana let go of his hand like it was burning fire. She walked backward until her back hit the cold wall. She crossed her arms tightly over her chest. "I am not sleeping in that bed with you," Nana whispered fiercely. Jackson took off his suit jacket and threw it on a chair. He looked tired. He ran his hand through his thick, dark hair. "Do you think I want to share my bed?" Jackson asked, his voice returning to its normal, arrogant tone. "But my grandmother is very smart. She wakes up early. If she walks in here tomorrow morning and sees you sleeping on the floor, she will know we are lying. The shock could give her a heart attack." Nana looked at the giant bed. Then she looked at the cold, hard floor. She knew he was right. She could not kill a sick old woman just because she was stubborn. "Fine," Nana agreed angrily. "But you stay on your side. If you touch me, I will break your arm." Jackson let out a low, teasing chuckle. He walked to his closet to change his clothes. "Do not worry, little beast. You are not my type anyway." 10 minutes later, the room was completely dark. Nana lay on the far left edge of the giant bed. She wore her thickest, longest pajamas. She was pulled under the black silk sheets, completely frozen. She stared at the ceiling. Her heart was beating so loud she thought Jackson could hear it. The mattress shifted. Jackson climbed into the right side of the bed. He pulled the covers up. They were lying more than 3 feet apart. They were not touching at all. But Nana could feel the heat coming from his large body. She could smell his fresh soap. Every time he took a breath, the silk sheets moved over her skin. It was absolute torture. She had to sleep next to the dangerous man who owned her. "Good night, my sweet wife," Jackson's deep voice whispered in the dark. He sounded like he was smiling. Nana squeezed her eyes shut. She bit her lip. She promised herself she would not fall asleep. She would stay awake all night to make sure he did not come closer. But the bed was so soft. The room was so warm. Slowly, her tired eyes began to close. Just as she was falling into a deep sleep, she felt a heavy weight shift on the mattress. A strong, muscular arm wrapped tightly around her waist. A hot chest pressed firmly against her back. Nana's eyes flew wide open in the pitch-black dark. He wrapped his arm around her. In the dark. While she was falling asleep. And now she is wide awake, and so are we. Here is what I need to know, and I want every single one of you to answer this in the comments right now. Does Jackson know exactly what he is doing, or is he asleep and this is completely innocent? Because the way this man operates, nothing he does is ever by accident. Chapter 3 is going to break you. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Share this with someone who needs a new obsession. I will see you in the next chapter, if this channel survives. Chapter 3, Drugged. Nana's eyes flew wide open in the pitch-black dark. A heavy, muscular arm was wrapped tightly around her waist. A hot, hard chest was pressed firmly against her back. Jackson was holding her. She stopped breathing. She reached down to push his heavy arm away, ready to yell at him. But before she could move, a large hand clamped over her mouth. "Shoo," Jackson whispered right into her ear. His breath was hot against her skin. "Do not move. Look at the door." Nana froze. She slowly opened her eyes wider. The heavy wooden door of the bedroom was open with just a tiny crack. A thin slice of yellow light spilled onto the dark carpet. Standing in the light, peeking through the crack, was Madame Ville. The old woman watched them for a long moment. Seeing them wrapped in each other's arms, she gave a soft, happy nod. The door clicked shut perfectly. Jackson slowly moved his hand away from Nana's mouth. He let out a long breath. "She was checking on us," Jackson whispered in the dark. He did not let go of her waist. "Go to sleep, Nana. We survived night 1. Nana's heart was beating like a wild drum. She tried to stay stiff and cold, but Jackson's body was so warm. The soft sound of his breathing slowly made her relax. Without meaning to, she closed her eyes and fell into the deepest sleep she had ever had. When morning came, the bed was empty. Jackson was already gone. A note on his pillow said he had a very important meeting. Nana spent the whole day drinking tea with Madame Ville. She smiled until her cheeks hurt. She lied about how much she loved Jackson over and over again. But when the sun went down, things changed. Nana walked past Jackson's private office in the mansion. The door was slightly open. She heard him talking on his phone. His voice was not smooth or arrogant. It was dark and full of danger. "I will meet them at the Red Dragon Club tonight," Jackson said into the phone. "Bring the guns. If they try to cheat me, no one leaves alive." Nana covered her mouth. Guns? She knew Jackson was a powerful billionaire, but this sounded like the Mafia. A cold chill ran down her spine. An hour later, Jackson walked down the stairs wearing a black silk shirt and a black leather jacket. He looked like an angel of death. "Stay here with grandmother," Jackson ordered Nana without looking at her. "Do not leave this house tonight." He walked out the front door, surrounded by 4 giant guards. Nana stood in the hallway. Her mind raced. She should stay in the safe, warm mansion. But a strange feeling twisted in her stomach. It was the same feeling she got when she worked as a veterinarian. She had a heavy feeling that something terrible was about to happen. She ran up to her room. She changed into dark jeans and a black hoodie. She slipped out the back door, jumped the low garden wall, and caught a taxi on the street. "Follow that black car," she told the driver. The taxi followed Jackson's car all the way to the worst part of Seoul. They stopped in front of a loud, neon-lit building called the Red Dragon Club. Heavy bass music shook the dirty street. Nana pulled her hood up and sneaked inside. The club was packed with dancing people. The air smelled like cheap alcohol and thick smoke. Nana hid behind a tall pillar near the bar. She looked around until she spotted him. Jackson was sitting in a VIP booth in the dark corner. 3 scary-looking men with face tattoos sat across from him. Jackson's guards stood nearby, looking around the room. Nana watched closely. Jackson was talking angrily to the men. He slammed his hand on the table. The men laughed. Then, Jackson turned his head to yell at one of his guards. In that one split second, the man across from Jackson moved his hand. He dropped a tiny, white pill into Jackson's whiskey glass. The pill melted instantly. Nana gasped. "Poison." She tried to run forward to stop him, but the crowd of dancing people pushed her back. She watched in pure horror as Jackson turned around, picked up his glass, and drank the whole thing. "No," Nana whispered. 5 minutes passed. Jackson stood up to shake the man's hand. But suddenly, he stumbled. He grabbed the edge of the table. His head dropped. His guards rushed forward and grabbed his arms. They quickly pulled him out of the booth and dragged him toward a private back hallway. The tattooed men just smiled and drank their beer. Nana fought her way through the sweaty crowd. She pushed the heavy metal door of the back hallway open. It was quiet back here. She saw the guards push Jackson into a small, dark VIP room. "Get the car ready. Quick," one guard yelled, running past Nana toward the back exit. Nana ran to the VIP room and pushed the door open. Jackson was lying on a leather couch. His leather jacket was thrown on the floor. He was ripping the buttons off his black shirt. His beautiful bronze skin was covered in heavy sweat. He was gasping for air like he was drowning. "Jackson!" Nana cried out, running to his side. He opened his eyes. They were completely bloodshot. His dark eyes were wild, like a trapped beast. "What are you doing here? Didn't I ask you to stay with Grandma?" Jackson roared. His voice was thick and raspy. He grabbed his own hair in pain. "Run away, Nana." "No. You have been poisoned," Nana said, her hands shaking. She reached out and touched his chest. His skin was burning hot. It felt like a fire. Because she studied medicine, she knew what this was. It was not a poison to kill him. It was an illegal, underground drug. It made the blood boil and the heart beat too fast. If a man did not find a release for the burning heat inside him, his heart would explode. "I cannot leave you," Nana whispered. Her voice broke. She hated him for buying her. She hated him for trapping her. But looking at him suffering in this dark room, she realized she did not want him to die. She took a deep breath. Her hands trembled as she reached for the zipper of her black hoodie. "I can help you," she said softly. She pulled the hoodie over her head, leaving her in just a thin white tank top. "I will do it. Let me save you." Jackson stared at her bare shoulders. He heard her words. The drug was taking over his brain. He wanted her more than he wanted to breathe. His hands reached out, grabbing her waist. He pulled her down onto his hot, hard chest. Nana closed her eyes, ready to give him her body. But suddenly, Jackson groaned in pure agony. His large hands moved from her waist to her shoulders. Instead of pulling her closer, he pushed her back with incredible force. Nana fell back onto the floor, completely shocked. Jackson rolled off the couch and crashed onto his hands and knees. He was shaking violently. Sweat dripped from his face onto the floor. He dug his sharp fingernails into the carpet to stop himself from touching her. No, Jackson choked out. He did not look at her. He kept his head bowed, fighting the drug with every ounce of his massive willpower. I will not use you like a cheap cure. But you will die, Nana cried, crawling back toward him. Do not touch me, he yelled, his voice breaking. He squeezed his eyes shut. I forced you to marry me. But I will never force you to give me your body. Put your clothes on, Nana. Go home. Nana sat frozen on the floor. Tears filled her eyes. He was a dangerous mafia boss. He had bought her. He had trapped her. But right now, burning alive with a deadly drug, he chose to suffer instead of taking advantage of her. For the first time since she met him, Nana saw the real man hiding behind the handsome devil. Hold on. Did this same man who bought her, who trapped her with a marriage contract, just choose to suffer rather than touch her without her full heart? Because I need someone to explain to me why I am feeling things right now. Drop a comment and tell me honestly, is Jackson starting to grow on you, or is he still the villain in your eyes? Because the line between monster and protector is getting very thin right now. And Chapter 3 is not even close to being over yet. Let's keep going, it is about to get worse. The sun came up slowly over the Ville mansion. Nana sat on the edge of the giant bed. She had not slept at all. Her eyes were red and tired. She stared at the thick oak door of the bedroom, waiting. Last night, after Jackson refused to touch her in the dark VIP room, his guards had rushed in. They brought a secret underground doctor. The doctor gave Jackson a painful shot to calm his boiling blood. They brought him home in the middle of the night. He had locked himself in his private study to recover. Nana rubbed her cold arms. She felt so confused. Jackson was a monster who bought her. He was a dangerous mafia boss who met with tattooed criminals. But when he was burning alive, when he could have easily used her body to save himself, he pushed her away. He chose pain over hurting her. Why did he do that? A loud noise broke the quiet morning. Vroom. The sound of a very loud, very fast car engine echoed in the front yard. Nana jumped. She walked to the giant window and looked down. A bright yellow sports car parked right in the middle of the driveway. The car doors swung open. A man stepped out. Nana narrowed her eyes. The man was tall. He wore a bright white suit with no tie. His shirt was open at the top, showing a heavy gold chain. He reached up and took off his dark sunglasses. He looked nothing at all like Jackson. He had Korean features, pale skin. But where Jackson looked like a dangerous, quiet king, this man looked wild and arrogant. His smile was not handsome. It was sharp and greedy. Nana quickly washed her face, put on a simple blue dress, and walked out of the bedroom. She walked down the grand marble staircase. The house was usually very quiet in the morning, but today there were happy voices in the living room. She peeked around the heavy stone wall. Madame Ville was sitting in her velvet chair. But she did not look scary or angry today. Her wrinkled face was lit up with a massive, loving smile. My sweet boy, Madame Ville cried out happily. She reached her shaking hands out. The man in the white suit walked forward and fell to his knees in front of her chair. He hugged the old woman tightly and kissed both of her cheeks. Grandmother, the man said warmly. He sounded like a perfect, loving angel. I missed you so much. I came to see you as soon as I heard you were in Seoul. You are such a good grandson, Jake, Madame Ville said, petting his hair. You always make time for your old grandmother. Nana held her breath. Nana looked across the room. Jackson was standing by the large stone fireplace. He wore a crisp black shirt and dark pants. He held a cup of black coffee in one hand. He did not look sick from last night. He did not look angry. He looked completely bored. His face was a cold, hard mask of absolute control. He took a slow sip of his coffee and watched Jake play the perfect grandson. I heard my big brother finally got married, Jake said, standing up and smiling at Jackson. I had to come meet the lucky bride. Jackson did not reply. He did not even blink. He just stared at Jake with dead, empty eyes. Nana tried to step back quietly into the hallway. She did not want to meet this man. But her shoes squeaked on the marble floor. Jake's head snapped toward the sound. His sharp eyes locked right onto her. Jake said smoothly. He started walking toward her. Look at what we have here. The beautiful new wife. Jake walked right up to Nana. He stood much too close. He smelled like strong, expensive cologne and stale cigarettes. He looked Nana up and down. His eyes stopped on her face. He stared at her deeply, like he was solving a puzzle. Fascinating, Jake whispered, his voice low so only Nana could hear. He really did it. He actually found you. Nana frowned. She felt a cold shiver run down her back. What do you mean? Jake ignored her question. He grabbed her hand. He bowed low and kissed the back of her knuckles. His lips felt cold and wet. Nana quickly pulled her hand away. I am Jake, he said loudly, turning back to the room. I am the fun brother. Welcome to the family, Nana. Jackson finally moved. He slowly placed his coffee cup on the fireplace mantel. The soft clink of the cup made the whole room go dead silent. Nana, Jackson said. His voice was completely calm, but it held a heavy, terrifying power. Go to the kitchen. Tell the maids to prepare breakfast. Nana did not argue. She bowed to Madame Ville and hurried away down the long hallway. She pushed the swinging door to the kitchen open. The room was empty. The maids were probably busy with other chores. Nana walked to the sink and turned on the cold water. She washed her hands twice. She wanted to wash Jake's kiss off her skin. He is very bossy, isn't he? Nana jumped and spun around. Water splashed onto the floor. Jake was leaning against the kitchen door frame. He had a green apple in his hand. He took a loud, wet bite. He was looking at her like a snake looks at a bird. You should not sneak up on people, Nana said bravely. She reached for a towel to dry her hands. Her heart was beating fast. And you should not trust everything you see, Jake replied. He threw the half-eaten apple into the garbage. He walked slowly toward her. I do not want to talk to you, Nana said. She pointed to the door. Please leave. Jake did not leave. He stopped right in front of her. Do you really think my brother is a romantic hero? Jake asked softly. His sharp eyes danced with a dark secret. Do you think a rich billionaire suddenly decides to buy a poor girl from a cruel family by accident? Like a fairy tale. Nana swallowed hard. Her throat felt dry. He paid my parents' debt. That is all. Jake laughed. It was a cold, cruel sound. Oh, you poor, blind girl. Jackson does not do anything by accident. He is a calculating monster. He does not care about your parents' debt. Then why did he buy me? Nana's curiosity got the better of her. She crossed her arms, trying to look strong. Jake leaned in close. His breath smelled like sour fruit. Because he knew exactly who you were before he even saw your face. You are not a random prize. You are a specific target. Ask him why he really brought you here. He is hiding a very dark secret, Nana. Before Nana could say another word, the kitchen door opened. Jackson stepped inside. He did not slam the door. He did not yell. He simply stood in the doorway with his hands in his pockets. The air in the kitchen instantly turned freezing cold. The crushing weight of Jackson's presence filled the room. Jake stopped smiling. He slowly backed away from Nana. Jake, Jackson said. His voice was dangerously soft. If you are hungry, eat in the dining room. You do not belong in the kitchen. Jake put his hands up in the air, pretending to surrender. Relax, brother. I was just welcoming your wife to the family. Jackson did not reply. He just kept his dark, deadly eyes locked on Jake's face. Jake swallowed hard. The fake courage drained out of him. He quickly walked past Jackson and disappeared down the hall. The kitchen was dead silent. The only sound was the dripping water from the sink. Jackson looked at Nana. His face was still a calm, unreadable mask. Did he touch you? No, Nana whispered. She looked at his handsome face. She remembered what Jake just said. You are a specific target. Jackson, Nana asked, her voice shaking slightly. Did you know me before you bought me? Jake said you targeted me. Jackson's face didn't crumble. He walked over to the counter and picked up a clean glass. He poured himself some water. Jake is a snake, Jackson said calmly, taking a slow sip of water. He wants my company. He knows you are my wife. He will tell you any lie to make you turn against me. It is a very old, boring game. So you swear you did not know me? Nana pressed, stepping forward. Jackson finally looked at her. His dark eyes were deep and steady. I do not waste my time swearing things to you, Nana. You can choose to believe a snake, or you can use your own brain. He put the glass down and walked out of the kitchen. He sounded so completely in control. He sounded so sure. But deep down in her gut, where her animal instincts lived, Nana felt a terrible chill. Jackson was too calm. He was hiding something massive. She had to know the truth. She tiptoed to the kitchen door and pushed it open just a tiny crack. She followed the sound of Jackson's steady footsteps. He was walking into his private study. But before he could close the door, Jake slipped inside right behind him. The heavy oak door clicked shut. Nana crept silently down the hallway. She pressed her ear flat against the cold wood of the study door. She held her breath and listened. Inside the room, the brothers were not acting nice anymore. Are you crazy coming here? Jackson asked. His voice was low, but it held a dark promise of violence. Grandmother is so happy to see me, Jake mocked smoothly. You cannot throw me out, brother. It would break her fragile little heart. State your business and get out, Jackson ordered coldly. I want half, Jake said immediately. Give me 50% of the Ville Corporation shares. Sign them over to me by tomorrow morning. Nana covered her mouth. Half the company? Inside the study, a low, dark chuckle rumbled from Jackson's chest. He did not sound desperate. He sounded like a predator laughing at a foolish mouse. You're a clown, Jake, Jackson said smoothly. You will not get a single penny from me. Now get out of my office before I have my guards throw you out the window. Do not test me, Jackson. Jake snapped. His calm act broke. If you do not sign those shares to me, I will go straight to your sweet, innocent wife. And I will tell her exactly what you did to her parents. Outside the door, Nana's eyes went wide with pure horror. Her legs almost gave out. She slapped both hands over her mouth to stop herself from screaming. My parents? What did he do to my parents? Inside the room, there was a sudden sound of rushing movement. A heavy thud shook the walls as a body was slammed hard against the wooden bookshelves. Listen to me very carefully, you pathetic worm, Jackson whispered. His voice was no longer calm. It was the voice of the underground warlord. It dripped with pure, icy death. Nana heard Jake gasping for air. Jackson had him pinned by the throat. The only reason you are still breathing, Jackson said softly, is because of the vow I made to grandmother. She swore she would end her own life if I ever spilled your blood. Her life is the only shield you have. Jake choked, trying to break free from Jackson's iron grip. But if you ever speak a word of the past to Nana, Jackson promised darkly, pressing harder against his brother's throat, I will not care about the vow anymore. I will gladly watch the whole world burn just to rip your head off. What did Jackson do to her parents? Because Jake just said it, Jackson knew something about her parents. And Jackson did not deny it. He just grabbed Jake by the throat to shut him up. I need every single one of you to stop right now and answer this in the comments. Do you think Jackson is the reason Nana's parents sold her? Was this all planned from the very beginning? Because if it was, everything we thought we knew about this man just shattered. Chapter 4 is going to reveal things that will make your jaw drop. Subscribe right now so you do not miss it, and share this with someone who thinks they already know how this story ends. They have no idea. Chapter 4, They Died by My Hands. The loud, heavy chopping sound of a helicopter shook the windows of the Ville mansion. Nana stood in the grand hallway. The front doors were wide open. Outside, the strong wind from the helicopter blades blew the green grass flat against the ground. Jackson stood by the door. He wore a sharp, dark blue suit. He looked like a king leaving his castle. Four giant bodyguards dressed in black stood behind him, carrying his heavy leather bags. He was traveling to Tokyo for a very important underground business meeting. He turned around and looked at Nana. His dark eyes swept over her face. He took a slow step toward her. He reached out his hand. His rough thumb gently brushed against her soft cheek. The touch made a warm shiver run down Nana's spine. She hated that her body reacted to him this way. "I will be gone for 3 days," Jackson said. His deep voice was quiet, so only she could hear. "Do not leave the house. My guards will watch the gates. You are safe here." Nana looked into his dark, bottomless eyes. She remembered the terrible secret she heard through the study door. What did you do to her parents? She wanted to scream at him. She wanted to hit his chest and demand the truth. But she kept her mouth shut. She just nodded her head once. Jackson looked over her shoulder. His eyes turned to hard, black ice. Jake was standing at the top of the marble stairs. He was leaning against the railing, spinning a gold coin between his fingers. He smiled his nasty, arrogant smile. "Have a safe trip, brother," Jake called out loudly. "Do not worry about a thing. I will take very good care of your lovely wife while you are gone." Jackson did not reply to him. He did not even blink. He just stared at Jake for 3 long seconds. The silent threat in his eyes was so heavy it made the air in the room hard to breathe. "If she has a single scratch on her when I return," Jackson said smoothly, his voice echoing in the large hall, "I will cut off your hands." Jake stopped spinning the coin. He swallowed hard and looked away. Jackson turned back to Nana. He looked at her one last time, dropped his hand from her cheek, and walked out the door. The heavy doors clicked shut behind him. The sound of the helicopter slowly faded away into the cloudy sky. The house was completely silent. Nana did not want to be inside with Jake. She quickly walked through the kitchen and went out the back door. She walked far into the deep, dark trees of the giant backyard. She found the giant black guard dog lying under a large oak tree. When the terrifying beast saw her, it did not bark. It whined softly and wagged its heavy tail. Nana sat down in the soft green grass. The giant dog rested its huge, heavy head on her lap. Nana stroked the dog's thick black fur. She let out a long, shaky breath. "It is just you and me, big guy," she whispered. "A very pretty picture." Nana jumped. The dog growled, its yellow eyes snapping open. Jake stepped out from behind a thick bush. He was holding a brown paper folder in his hand. He looked at the giant dog with fear, staying far away from its sharp teeth. "Keep that monster sitting down," Jake ordered, taking a step back. Nana put her hand on the dog's neck to keep it calm. She glared at Jake. "Jackson told you to stay away from me. What do you want?" Jake smiled his cruel smile. "Jackson is in the sky right now. He cannot protect you from the truth anymore. You heard us arguing yesterday, didn't you? I saw your small footprint outside the study door." Nana's heart hammered against her ribs. She did not say a word. Jake laughed softly. "You want to know his big secret? You want to know why a mafia lord suddenly bought a poor, ordinary girl?" Jake threw the brown folder onto the grass. The wind blew it open. Inside the folder was an old, faded photograph. Nana frowned. She slowly reached out and picked up the picture. It was a photo of a man and a woman. The man wore a sharp driver's uniform. The woman wore a white doctor's coat. They looked so happy. But when Nana looked at the woman's face, her breath stopped in her throat. The woman in the picture had Nana's exact eyes. She had Nana's exact nose. She had Nana's exact skin. It was like looking into a magic mirror that showed the past. "Who is this?" Nana whispered. Her hands started to shake. "That," Jake said smoothly, "is your real mother. And your real father." The world spun around Nana. She felt dizzy. "No. My parents are the ones who sold me. They raised me." "They lied to you," Jake said. He sounded so happy to destroy her world. "The woman who raised you is just your mother's sister. Your real mother gave you to her in secret when you were just a baby. Because your mother's sister had no child back then." Nana stared at the picture. A hot tear fell from her eye and hit the old paper. Deep down in her soul, she knew he was telling the truth. She never looked like the family that raised her. She never felt loved by them. This beautiful woman in the picture. This was her real mother. "Where are they?" Nana cried softly. She looked up at Jake. "Where are my real parents?" Jake's smile vanished. His face turned cold and serious. "They're dead, Nana," Jake said slowly. He pointed a long finger toward the giant Ville mansion. "They worked for this family. They were loyal servants. But one dark night, there was a terrible accident. Your parents were killed. And do you know who killed them?" Nana shook her head. Her chest felt so tight she could not breathe. "Who killed them, Dot?" "It was Jackson," Jake whispered. The words cut through the air like a poison sword. "Your perfect, handsome husband killed your real mother and father. That is why he is an underground warlord. That is why his hands are covered in blood. He found you to wipe away his own guilt. You are sleeping in the bed of the man who murdered your parents." The old photograph slipped from Nana's fingers. It fluttered to the grass. She pressed her hands over her ears. A loud ringing sound filled her head. "Liar! You are a liar," she screamed at him. "Ask him," Jake yelled back, pointing at the picture. "When he comes back from his trip, look him in the eye and ask him how your parents died. Ask him who pulled the trigger. He will not be able to lie to your face." Jake turned around and walked away, leaving her alone in the cold grass. Nana fell forward, pressing her face into the dog's thick fur. She sobbed. She cried so hard her whole body shook violently. The giant dog whined and licked her tears, but it could not comfort her. Her whole life was a lie. The family she grew up with had sold her. And the man who bought her, the man who protected her, the man who made her heart beat so fast, he was the monster who destroyed her real family. She thought about Jackson's dark eyes. She thought about his warm hands. She felt sick to her stomach. She had almost let herself fall in love with a murderer. I have to stop here for a second, because I am genuinely emotional right now, and not just because of Nana's story. I want to be honest with you. I pour everything I have into these chapters. Every word, every twist, every heartbreak is built with love. But this channel is struggling. The views are low. The numbers are discouraging me. And some days I ask myself if I should just stop. But then I think about Nana, a girl who had every reason to give up and didn't. So I am choosing not to give up either. If this story has hit you even once, if you felt anything reading this chapter, please subscribe right now. Share this video with just one person who loves drama and romance. Leave a comment so I know you are here. You have no idea how much it means to me. Okay, let us get back to Nana. Because things are about to get so much worse before they get better. Nana sat up. She wiped her wet face with the back of her hands. Her sadness slowly turned into a burning, explosive anger. "I cannot stay here," she whispered to the wind. "I will not be his prisoner anymore." She stood up. Her legs were shaking, but she forced herself to walk back to the massive house. She did not look at the maids. She did not look at Madame Ville's closed door. She walked straight up the grand staircase to the master bedroom. She opened the giant closet. Dozens of expensive silk dresses hung there. Beautiful diamond necklaces sparkled in glass boxes. Jackson had bought them all for her. Nana ignored them. She walked to the very back of the closet. She pulled out her old, cheap backpack. She packed only what belonged to her. 2 pairs of old jeans. 3 simple shirts. Her old sneakers. And the small plastic ID card that proved she was a veterinary doctor. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the heavy gold credit card Jackson had given her. She threw it onto the black silk bedsheets. She did not want a single penny of his dirty, blood-soaked money. She zipped up her backpack. She threw it over her shoulder. Now, she just had to wait for the sun to go down. She sat in the dark bedroom for 6 hours. She watched the clock tick on the wall. Every second felt like an hour. When the clock struck midnight, she finally moved. She opened her bedroom window. She did not need to tie dresses together this time. She knew the mansion now. She knew exactly where the guards stood. She knew the blind spots in the security cameras. She slipped out the window and climbed quietly down the thick vines on the side of the stone wall. Her feet hit the soft dirt of the garden without a sound. She crept through the bushes like a ghost. She reached the back corner of the giant iron fence. A guard was standing just 20 feet away, smoking a cigarette in the dark. Suddenly, the giant black guard dog stepped out of the shadows. It walked right up to Nana. The guard turned his head, hearing the leaves crunch. Nana held her breath. If the dog barked, she was caught. If the dog growled, the guard would see her. She looked into the beast's yellow eyes. She reached out and gently rubbed its wet nose one last time. The giant dog did not make a sound. It just licked her hand, turned around, and walked loudly toward the guard, blocking the man's view. "Hey, big boy. What are you doing here?" the guard asked the dog, turning his back to the fence. Nana did not waste a second. She grabbed the top of the iron fence. She pulled her body up with all her strength. The sharp metal cut her palm, but she did not cry out. She threw her leg over the top and dropped down to the other side. She landed hard on the wet pavement of the city street. She stood up. She looked back at the giant, dark mansion one last time. It was a golden cage, and she had finally broken the lock. Nana turned her back on the Ville family. She pulled her hood over her head, walked into the dark, rainy streets of Seoul, and completely disappeared into thin air. Far away from the cold, wet streets, inside a brightly lit luxury mall in Gangnam, a family was celebrating. Nana's fake parents and her younger brother, Kim, walked into a very expensive designer store. They did not look poor anymore. They were covered in brand new clothes. Kim was looking at himself in a tall mirror. He wore a heavy diamond watch and a shiny red silk shirt. Ever since he got rich, he told everyone to call him Jacob. He thought it sounded like the name of a famous movie star. "Look at this gold chain." Jacob laughed loudly. He put the thick necklace around his neck. "I am going to buy 3 of them." His mother smiled. She was holding 4 expensive leather bags. She did not even look at the price tags. "Buy whatever you want, my sweet boy. We deserve this." But the fake father was standing in the corner. He was looking at his phone screen. His face was pale and sweaty. "Wife," the father whispered nervously. He walked over to her. "We have a problem. We have spent half the money already. We bought cars, clothes, and expensive dinners. We did not put any money in the bank to grow. We did not invest a single penny. The money is running out fast. Stop worrying, old man." Jacob laughed, patting his father hard on the back. "We do not need to invest. If we run out of cash, we will just go back to that billionaire boss." "Exactly," the mother agreed smoothly. She admired her new diamond ring. "Jackson Ville is the richest man in Seoul. And he is obsessed with Nana. If we need more money, we will just ask him. Our daughter is finally being useful to us." They laughed together. They did not care that they had sold the girl who loved them. They did not care that they gave her to a dangerous underground warlord. They were greedy, foolish people. And they had no idea that their golden ticket had just escaped her cage. Miles away from the bright mall, the dark rain poured down on the dirty streets of Seoul. Nana sat on the wet concrete in a dark, empty alley. She was hiding under a small plastic roof. She was freezing cold. Her cheap backpack was soaked with rain. She hugged her knees tightly to her chest to stay warm. She had no money for a hotel. She had no phone to call Sophia. She was completely alone. She closed her tired eyes. Every time she closed them, she saw the old photograph. She saw the beautiful face of her real mother. And then, she heard Jake's poisonous voice echoing in her head. "He killed them. He murdered your real parents." Suddenly, bright yellow lights flashed at the end of the dark alley. 3 massive black luxury cars drove slowly into the narrow street. They stopped right in front of her. The heavy car doors swung open. 10 giant guards in black suits stepped out into the rain. They completely blocked the street. There was nowhere to run. Then, the back door of the middle car opened. Jackson stepped out. He held a large black umbrella over his head. He wore a dark suit. The street lights hit his sharp jawline. His dark eyes locked instantly onto Nana sitting in the dirt. He had found her. Nana's heart hammered in her chest. She stood up. Her legs were shaking, but she forced herself to back away until her shoulders hit the cold brick wall. Jackson walked slowly toward her. He stopped a few feet away. He looked at her wet hair and her shivering body. A flash of deep worry crossed his handsome face, but he quickly hid it. "You are coming home, Nana," Jackson said. His deep voice cut easily through the sound of the loud rain. "Stay away from me." Nana screamed. She pointed a shaking finger at him. "Do not come any closer, you monster." Jackson froze. His jaw tightened. Jake told me everything. Nana cried out. The hot tears mixed with the cold rain on her face. He showed me the picture of my real mother. I know what you did. You killed them. The guards behind Jackson did not move a single muscle. The alley was dead silent except for the rain. Jackson stood perfectly still. He looked deep into her fiery, broken eyes. He did not yell. He did not lie to her. Yes, Jackson said softly. Nana gasped. Hearing him say the word out loud felt like a knife stabbing right into her heart. Her breath stopped. Yes, Jackson repeated. His dark eyes were filled with a heavy, dark shadow. They died by my hands. Nana covered her mouth. A loud sob ripped from her throat. Why? She cried, her voice breaking. Why did you kill them? What did my parents ever do to you? Tell me. Chapter 5. The Wall of Ice. 2 weeks passed. The giant Ville mansion did not feel like a palace anymore. It felt like a cold, silent graveyard. Ever since the rainy night in the alley, Nana built a massive wall of ice around her heart. She refused to speak to Jackson. She refused to look at his handsome face. She treated him like he was completely invisible. If Jackson walked into the grand dining room for breakfast, Nana would immediately stand up. She would drop her silver spoon on the table. It would make a loud clink. Then, she would turn her back and walk out of the room without saying a single word. If they accidentally passed each other in the long, quiet hallways, Nana would press her shoulder against the wall to stay as far away from him as possible. She would look down at the floor until he was gone. She hated him. He was the monster who killed her real parents. But Jackson never yelled at her. He never forced her to talk. He just watched her. He wore his cold, blank Mafia mask, but sometimes, when he thought she was not looking, his dark eyes showed a deep, heavy pain. He let her hate him because he believed he deserved it. One cold Friday night, the silence finally became too much for Nana. The heavy rain was hitting her bedroom window. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the old photograph of her real mother. She imagined Jackson holding a gun. Her chest hurt so much she could barely breathe. She needed to make the pain stop. She needed her brain to turn off. Jackson was out at an underground meeting. The house was empty except for the guards outside. Jake had suddenly disappeared after causing a rift between Nana and Jackson. Madame Ville followed along with him after Jake told her that she only cared about Jackson. He blackmailed the old lady emotionally, saying that she had never visited his home. So the old lady had to follow his grandson, unaware of the chaos he had created. Nana crept out of her bedroom. She walked silently down the stairs and pushed open the heavy oak door of Jackson's private study. The room smelled like dark wood and mint. She walked straight to his glass cabinet. Inside, there were dozens of expensive crystal bottles. She did not care what they cost. She grabbed a heavy bottle of dark amber whiskey. She did not go back to her room. She walked out the back door of the kitchen. She stepped out into the freezing night air. She did not wear a jacket. She only had a thin white shirt and loose pajama pants on. Nana walked deep into the dark garden, far away from the bright lights of the mansion. She sat down on the wet, cold grass. She opened the heavy crystal bottle. She lifted it to her lips and took a massive gulp. The strong whiskey burned her throat like a hot fire. It made her eyes water. She coughed violently, her chest heaving. But she did not stop. She took another big drink. And another. Slowly, the freezing air did not feel so cold anymore. Her fingers and toes started to feel warm and fuzzy. Her head began to spin in slow, lazy circles. I am an orphan, Nana hiccuped to the empty night. Her words were slow and sloppy. My fake parents sold me for a gold chain. My real parents are dead. She took another drink. The bottle was already half empty. Tears spilled over her eyelashes and ran down her hot cheeks. And my husband, she sobbed, laughing a broken, sad laugh. My fake husband is a murderer. But I still look for him when I wake up. Why am I so stupid? She hated Jackson for what he did. But she hated herself even more because her foolish heart still skipped a beat when he entered the room. The alcohol made all her hidden feelings bubble up to the surface. It was too confusing. Nana tried to stand up. Her legs felt like wet noodles. The ground tilted sharply to the left. She stumbled forward, dropping the heavy crystal bottle. It hit a rock and shattered into shiny pieces. She walked blindly through the thick bushes. She did not know where she was going. She just wanted to disappear into the dark. Suddenly, a low, rumbling growl vibrated through the trees. Nana stopped swaying. She looked up with heavy, half-open eyes. Stepping out of the deep shadows was the giant blackguard dog. Its yellow eyes glowed in the moonlight. Its thick, sharp teeth flashed as it breathed heavily. Anyone else would have screamed and run for their life. Nana just smiled. It was a sad, crooked smile. "Hello, big boy," she mumbled. She tripped over her own feet and fell hard onto her knees in the wet dirt. The giant dog stopped growling. It tilted its massive head. It slowly walked up to the broken, crying girl. It pushed its wet black nose against her cheek. It smelled the strong, sharp whiskey on her breath. The terrifying beast let out a soft, gentle whine. "You're a monster, too," Nana whispered. She reached her shaking hands out. "Everyone is afraid of you. But you do not lie to me. You do not keep dark secrets." Nana crawled closer to the giant animal. She was so tired. Her heart was so exhausted from carrying all this anger and sadness. She just wanted to rest. She collapsed on the ground right next to the dog. She curled her body into a small ball. She rested her heavy, dizzy head right on the dog's thick, furry stomach. She used the deadly beast as her pillow. The dog did not bite her. It did not move away. Instead, it curled its massive body tightly around her, like a thick, warm blanket, protecting her from the freezing night wind. Nana closed her eyes. The dog's steady heartbeat sounded like a slow drum against her ear. "I wish I had seen my parents once, just once before that monster killed them," Nana cried softly into the dog's fur. "And I hate him so much. I hate him." Her voice faded away into the quiet wind. The strong alcohol finally pulled her down into a deep, dark sleep. She lay there in the dirt, a broken girl guarded by a wild beast. 10 minutes later, the back door of the mansion flew open. Jackson stepped out into the dark yard. He had just come home. He had checked her room, and the empty bed had sent a massive spike of terror straight through his chest. He marched into the garden, his sharp eyes cutting through the darkness, completely unaware of the heartbreaking sight he was about to find. Jackson's heavy black boots crushed the wet grass. He walked fast through the dark garden. His heart hammered in his chest. He had searched the whole house. She was nowhere inside. He pushed past a thick row of bushes. Then he stopped dead in his tracks. Lying in the cold dirt, surrounded by empty darkness, was his wife. She was curled into a tiny ball. A shattered whiskey bottle lay near her feet. And wrapped completely around her small body was his giant, deadly guard dog. Jackson let out a long, shaky breath. He walked slowly toward them. The giant dog lifted its heavy head. It looked at Jackson, let out a soft whine, and moved aside to let its master step close. Jackson dropped to his knees in the dirt. He smelled the strong, sharp alcohol. He saw the wet tear stains on Nana's cold cheeks. His chest tightened with a heavy, painful guilt. He had caused those tears. He slid his strong arms under her knees and behind her back. He lifted her easily, holding her against his warm chest. "Put me down." Nana's eyes flew open. The sudden movement woke her up. The world spun wildly around her. She looked up and saw Jackson's sharp jawline. She saw the face of the man who destroyed her real family. The alcohol made her blood boil. Her sadness instantly turned into explosive, wild anger. "Let me go," she screamed. She started to kick her legs. She balled her small hands into fists and hit his hard chest. "Do not touch me. You murderer. You killed them." Jackson did not say a word. He tightened his grip so she would not fall and hurt herself. He carried her quickly across the dark yard and into the warm mansion. "I hate you," Nana sobbed, hitting his shoulder again and again. "You left me all alone. You took my mother. Put me down." Jackson carried her straight up the grand stairs. He walked into the master bedroom and gently placed her on the soft, black silk sheets. He tried to step back, but Nana scrambled back against the headboard. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were wild and red. She pointed a shaking finger at him. "Get out," she yelled at the top of her lungs. Her voice echoed off the walls. "You are a monster. I hope you burn for what you did." Jackson stood by the bed. His dark eyes were filled with a stormy, heavy emotion. He took a slow step closer. "Stop shouting, Nana," Jackson warned. His deep voice was dangerously quiet. "You will wake up the whole house. I do not care." Nana screamed, tears pouring down her face. She wanted to hurt him the way he hurt her. "Let everyone hear. Let them know the great CEO is a killer. Let them." I said, "Stop shouting." Jackson stepped right up to the edge of the bed. "If you shout one more time, I will kiss you to make you quiet." Nana glared at him. Her chest heaved up and down. She was drunk, angry, and fearless. She opened her mouth, took a deep breath, and prepared to scream as loud as she could. Jackson did not let the sound out. He moved like lightning. He leaned over the bed, grabbed both of her wrists in one large hand, and pinned them firmly above her head. With his other hand, he grabbed the back of her neck and crashed his lips down onto hers. Nana gasped against his mouth. She twisted her body, trying to fight him. She squeezed her eyes shut and pushed against his heavy chest. She hated him. She hated him. But Jackson did not kiss her like a cruel monster. His kiss was deep, hot, and full of a desperate, painful hunger. His lips were so warm, and she was so cold. His large hand held the back of her neck gently, like she was something precious that he was terrified of breaking. Nana stopped fighting. The strong whiskey blurred all the lines in her brain. She was so tired of being strong. She was so tired of fighting the world by herself. Her fake parents had thrown her away for a gold chain. Her real parents were gone forever. She was completely floating in an ocean of lonely grief. In that dark, confusing moment, Jackson was the only solid thing she could hold on to. Her tight muscles suddenly melted. A tiny whimper escaped her throat. Without thinking, she opened her mouth and kissed him back. Jackson groaned deep in his chest. He let go of her wrists. His hands slid down to wrap around her waist, pulling her closer. The undeniable, burning tension that had been building between them since the day they met finally exploded. The kiss turned wild and fierce. But suddenly, Jackson froze. He tasted the heavy whiskey on her tongue. He felt her shaking hands gripping his shirt. He realized exactly what was happening. She was drunk. She was broken. Jackson pulled his mouth away. He was breathing heavily, his chest rising and falling fast. He pushed himself off the bed. He took 2 steps back, his hands running through his dark hair. "No," Jackson choked out. He looked at the floor, fighting his own powerful desires. "I will not do this. You're drunk, Nana. You do not know what you are doing. Tomorrow, you will hate me even more." Wait. This man, this same dangerous mafia boss who bought her, who has blood on his hands, just stopped himself at the most critical moment because she was drunk, and he refused to take advantage of her. Again. I need the comments section to explode right now. Are you Team Jackson, or are you still Team he is a monster? Because I am personally losing my mind watching this man choose her dignity over and over again when she cannot even choose herself. Drop your thoughts below and make sure you are subscribed, because what happens next in this chapter is something I have been building toward since chapter 1, and you cannot miss it. He turned around to walk out the door. He was going to leave her alone. Don't. Jackson stopped with his hand on the brass doorknob. Nana sat up on the massive bed. The cold air hit her wet, shivering skin. When he stepped away, all the agonizing loneliness rushed right back into her chest. She could not be alone tonight. She could not sit in the dark and think about the photograph anymore. She needed his fire to burn away the pain. She crawled to the edge of the mattress. She reached out and grabbed the sleeve of his dark shirt tightly. Her knuckles were white. "Do not leave me alone," Nana cried softly. Fresh tears spilled over her eyelashes. "Please, Jackson. Just make the pain stop. Just for tonight." Jackson slowly turned his head. He looked into her broken, desperate eyes. He saw the way her lips trembled. His iron control finally shattered into a million pieces. He did not say a word. He reached down, grabbed the hem of his dark shirt, and pulled it over his head. He threw it onto the floor. In the dim moonlight, his broad, bronze chest rose and fell heavily. The mattress dipped under his heavy weight as he climbed back onto the bed. He moved over her like a dark shadow. He trapped her between his strong arms, his hands sinking into the soft black pillows on either side of her head. Nana looked up at his handsome face. Her heart beat so fast it hurt. Jackson leaned down slowly. He did not grab her roughly. Instead, he raised one large, rough hand and gently cupped her cheek. His thumb wiped away a hot tear. His skin was burning hot against her freezing face. "You will regret this tomorrow," Jackson whispered. His voice was thick and raspy, full of a dangerous hunger. "Tomorrow does not exist," Nana breathed out. She reached up and tangled her shaking fingers into his thick, dark hair. She pulled his face down to hers. Their lips crashed together. There was no hesitation anymore. The kiss was wet, deep, and desperate. Nana tasted the sharp whiskey on her own breath mixed with the rich, intoxicating taste of mint and danger from him. Jackson groaned deep in his throat. The sound vibrated against her lips. He shifted his weight, pressing his hard, hot chest flush against her soft body. The heavy friction of his bare skin sent lightning bolts of pure heat straight to her core. Nana arched her back, pressing closer to him. Her hands roamed desperately over his wide shoulders, mapping the hard muscles under his smooth skin. She wanted to feel all of him. She wanted him to erase every sad memory in her brain. Jackson's lips left her mouth. He trailed hot, open-mouthed kisses down her jaw and onto her neck. Nana gasped, her head falling back into the silk pillows. His large hands slid down to her waist, gripping her tightly. He pulled the thin fabric of her white shirt up, his rough palms sliding over her bare, sensitive stomach. The contrast of his burning touch against her shivering skin made her completely lose her mind. "Jackson," she whimpered, her nails digging into his back. It was a plea, a surrender. He moved back up to capture her lips in another fierce, consuming kiss. He swallowed her cries, his hands moving with urgent, heavy need to strip away the final pieces of clothing between them. In the dark, silent room, surrounded by the wreckage of her broken heart, Nana finally let the dangerous Mafia boss completely consume her. She said tomorrow does not exist. He said she would regret it. And then they both stopped caring about either. So here is your question for the comments tonight. When Nana wakes up tomorrow morning and the whiskey is gone and the reality hits her like cold water, will she run again? Or has something permanently shifted between them that she cannot take back no matter how much she hates him? Because Chapter 6 opens exactly where this ends. No skipping. No fade to black. And I promise you, the morning after is going to be 10 times more explosive than the night itself. Subscribe right now. Share this with someone who has been sleeping on this story. They have missed everything. Chapter 6. Hidden Intention. Deep under the busy streets of Seoul, far away from the Ville mansion, was a secret underground penthouse. It was completely hidden from the world. The room was dark and sleek. Guns, shiny knives, and deadly weapons hung on the concrete walls. Sitting on a black leather sofa was a woman. She was cleaning a long, black sniper rifle with a soft cloth. She was tall, dangerous, and moved with the quiet grace of a highly trained assassin. She had beautiful, fair skin and long, dark hair. In fact, if anyone looked closely, she looked exactly like Nana. She was a perfect, identical mirror image. A burner phone buzzed on the glass table next to her. The assassin put down the sniper rifle. She picked up the phone and pressed it to her ear. "Report," she commanded. Her voice was smooth, deadly, and perfectly calm. "I have news from the Ville mansion, boss," a man's voice whispered on the other end of the line. He was one of her secret spies. Jackson Ville just returned from Tokyo. He brought a woman into the house. He married her. The assassin's hand gripped the phone tightly. Her dark eyes flashed with sudden anger. "Jackson took a wife?" "Yes," the spy whispered. He sounded very nervous. "But boss, there is something very strange. I saw her walking in the garden. She looks exactly like you. It is like looking at a ghost." The assassin froze. The soft cloth dropped from her hand onto the floor. Her anger vanished, replaced by complete shock. "Send me a picture of her." Immediately, the assassin ordered. Her voice was barely a whisper. A second later, her phone pinged. She opened the message. It was a blurry photo of Nana standing in the rain. The assassin stared at the screen. Her breath caught in her throat. The girl in the picture had her exact fair skin, her exact eyes, her exact nose. "Find out everything about this girl named Nana," the assassin commanded, her mind racing. "Do not alert the big boss. I need to do some research on my own before I make my next move." She hung up the phone. She stared at the picture of Jackson's new wife, a massive, dangerous puzzle unlocking in her brain. Back at the Ville mansion, the air in the basement was thick and humid. The basement was a massive, indoor dungeon where Jackson kept exotic animals. There were strong glass cages holding large birds, wildcats, and rare reptiles. It was usually his favorite place to think, a quiet escape from the loud world. Today, his mind was a mess. His chest ached from the terrible morning he had with Nana. He remembered the disgust in her eyes when she looked at him. Jackson walked heavily down the stone stairs. He went straight toward the reptile enclosure. He wanted to feed the animals to clear his mind. He reached his large hand out to open the small glass hatch. He did not see the bright green flash in the dark. Hiss! The deadly green snake struck like lightning. Its giant, needle-sharp fangs sank deep into the thick muscle of Jackson's forearm. "Arg!" Jackson grunted loudly. He jerked his arm back with massive force. The snake let go and dropped back into the glass cage. Jackson grabbed his arm. Two deep, bloody puncture wounds stared back at him. Almost instantly, a terrible, burning fire shot up his veins. The venom was incredibly fast. The poison attacked his nervous system in seconds. His vision blurred. The strong, powerful Mafia boss stumbled backward. His heavy boots tripped over a thick rubber hose on the floor. He crashed hard onto the cold concrete, knocking over a metal bucket with a loud, echoing clatter. He tried to push himself up, but his arms completely gave out. His muscles were paralyzing. He was trapped on the floor, gasping for air as the venom squeezed his lungs. Upstairs, Nana was walking through the kitchen to get a glass of water. She heard the loud crash coming from the basement door. Curiosity made her open the door. She walked slowly down the stone steps. "Who is down here?" Nana called out softly. She turned the corner. Her eyes widened. Jackson was lying on the cold concrete floor. His face was pale, covered in a thick layer of cold sweat. He was holding his arm, breathing in short, painful gasps. Nana's heart jumped. Without thinking, she ran to his side and dropped to her knees. "Jackson." "What happened?" she asked, her hands hovering over him. Jackson forced his heavy eyes open. He looked at her. "Snake," he choked out. His voice was incredibly weak. "Poison, call Mr. Robinson." Nana looked at his arm. She saw the two bloody fang marks. Because of her secret veterinary training, she knew exactly what those marks meant. It was a neurotoxic bite. Without antivenom, his heart would stop in less than an hour. She reached into her pocket for her phone to call the guards. But then, her hand stopped. She looked at his pale, sweating face. Suddenly, she did not see a dying man. She saw the monster who held a gun. She saw the man who murdered her real mother and father. The pain of the old photograph flashed hot and bright in her mind. Nana slowly stood up. She took her hand out of her pocket. She looked down at him with cold, dead eyes. "No," Nana said softly. Jackson's eyes widened in confusion. He reached a shaking, heavy hand out toward her ankle. "Nana, please." Nana stepped back, pulling her foot away from his reach. She crossed her arms tightly over her chest. "You killed my parents," Nana said. Her voice was steady and completely empty of pity. "You destroyed my real family. Why should I save yours? This is your punishment, Jackson. It is karma." Jackson stared up at her. He could not believe she was leaving him to die. But the venom was too strong. His eyes rolled back, and his heavy hand hit the concrete floor with a dull thud. He passed out completely. "Jackson," a terrified voice screamed from the top of the stairs. Madame Ville stood in the doorway. She had heard the crash as she arrived. The old woman moved faster than she ever had, leaning heavily on her silver cane. She rushed down the stone stairs and fell to her knees next to her grandson. "My boy! My sweet boy!" Madame Ville cried. Her hands shook violently as she touched Jackson's burning, sweaty face. She looked up at Nana, her wrinkled face pale with pure terror. "Child, do not just stand there," the old woman begged, tears streaming down her face. "Call an ambulance. Call the guards. He is dying. Help me." Nana looked at the crying old woman. She felt a tiny pang of sadness for the grandmother, but her heart was locked behind an iron wall. "I will not help him," Nana said coldly. She did not raise her voice. She spoke like a judge delivering a sentence. Madame Ville gasped. "What are you saying? He is your husband. You can't possibly let him die." "I do not love him," Nana spat bitterly. She pointed a sharp finger down at Jackson's unconscious body. "He is a murderer. He killed my real parents, Madame Ville. He shot them dead, and I suffered my whole life because of it. He is not remorseful. He does not even care. And we never got married. This whole thing is just an act, nothing else." Before Nana could even move, the old lady held her chest. She was gasping for air. Before Nana could even register what was wrong, the old lady slumped. Nana panicked and hurriedly checked if the old lady was breathing. As she felt the air in the old lady's nostrils with her hand, she noticed that the old lady wasn't breathing anymore. "Child, please hurry up and call an ambulance." As Nana heard Madame Ville's voice again, she realized she had imagined the whole thing. She couldn't let this woman die. The old lady was innocent. It's Jackson who should be punished. She pulled out her phone immediately and called the ambulance. Nana knew exactly how to help Jackson, but she didn't want to help him. And she is aware that before the ambulance could get to the mansion, Jackson will be in critical condition. The old lady won't blame her for her grandson's death. "Why aren't you helping him? He is dying and you are there waiting for an ambulance." A new, sharp voice echoed in the dark basement. Nana froze. She turned around slowly. Stepping out from the deep shadows was a woman dressed in black leather, with a mask on her face. She walked with silent, deadly steps, like a highly trained assassin. 2 guards were walking behind her. She gave them a sign, and then the 2 guards walked forward and took the old lady out of the basement while she cried for her grandson. "Who are you?" Nana whispered. The assassin's face was hidden so Nana couldn't tell her facial expression. She walked to where Jackson was laid lifelessly, and the 2 guards who just returned brought her a box. She quickly opened the box and began to treat Jackson. Seconds turned into minutes and minutes to hours. The lady's dark eyes were wild with pure panic and explosive rage. Jackson's body began to jerk violently. The lady stood up immediately and removed her gloves. The 2 guards knew what to do by the look their boss gave to them. They carefully lifted Jackson's heavy, lifeless body and rushed him up the stairs. The lady turned to Nana with a deadly stare. "If he dies," she hissed, her voice shaking with violent promise, "I will make your life a living hell, sister. I swear it." Nana didn't understand why the lady would call her sister. She was so curious about so many things, and her instincts told her that this lady has answers to half of the questions she had. She followed them to where they were going with the help of the chauffeur. They sped through the dark streets of Seoul to the biggest private hospital in the city. For 2 days, Nana sat in the cold, white waiting room. She did not eat. She did not sleep. She just stared at her shaking hands. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Jackson in the alley, holding the umbrella over her head in the rain. She remembered his deep, hot kiss in the dark bedroom. She remembered how he pushed her away to protect her when he was burning with the underground drug. "He is a murderer," she tried to tell her brain. "You should not care." But her heart did not listen. Her heart was breaking into a million pieces. Because she knew exactly how to detoxify the poison from his system, but she didn't help him even when he begged her. Her anger had stopped her from saving the man who loved her. On the evening of the 2nd day, the heavy double doors of the emergency room finally opened. A tired doctor in a white coat walked out. The lady with a mask stood up instantly. Nana pushed herself up from her plastic chair. The doctor looked at the floor and shook his head slowly. "I am so sorry," the doctor whispered. The venom was inside him for too long before he got the medicine. It completely destroyed his heart. Jackson Ville is dead. Nana's legs gave out. She crashed to her knees on the hard hospital floor. Dead. A loud, agonizing scream tore from Nana's throat. She covered her face and sobbed until she could not breathe. Because of her own stubborn pride, she watched someone die when she could have saved him. She is also a monster just like him. I need to stop here. Because I am sitting with this chapter and I am genuinely emotional. Writing Nana watching Jackson die, knowing she had the power to save him and didn't, broke something in me. And honestly, this channel has been breaking me too. The views are low. The numbers tell me to stop. But I look at this story and I think, if I stop now, you will never find out the truth. You will never know what really happened that night on the road. You will never meet Bella. So I am asking you one more time, if this story has ever made you feel anything, please subscribe right now. Share this video tonight. Drop a comment so I know you are still here. You are the only reason I keep writing. Okay, let us go back. Because the truth is finally coming. Before Nana could register what was happening, the lady in red leather ordered her guards to take Nana away, but before they took Nana away, she whispered a threat to her. "Get ready, I will come back for you." Nana didn't respond. The guilt she felt made her unable to speak. She was drowning in her world of guilt. She didn't even realize that she was being taken out of the hospital by the guards. Madame Ville, on the other hand, was hospitalized. Jake was the one that took her to the hospital because she fainted in her room. Currently, she is in a coma. Nana was taken to the villa. She was drowning in misery. Hours turned to days. But she didn't feel any better. A week later, Nana noticed strange changes in her body. She also realized that her period was 5 days late, so she decided to visit the hospital, and it was confirmed that she was pregnant. She knew who this baby belonged to. It's the night Jackson slept with her after drinking. She smiled for the first time in days as she touched her belly. "Jackson, what would I say to this child when it's born? That I killed its father? I don't deserve this child." Nana wept silently. Her driver took her back to the mansion. As she got to the mansion, she met unexpected visitors. It was the same lady that came to the basement a week ago. This time, she brought 5 bodyguards with her. She still had a mask on her face. "Where did you keep my husband's body? And who really are you?" Nana asked. "Your husband? Oh, the one you murdered? How shameless can you be, sister?" Nana knew the lady was right, so she couldn't say a word. She just lowered her head in shame. "Do you prefer to talk here, where eyes and ears are open to hear the secret I am about to tell you? Or probably go somewhere quiet?" The lady asked Nana. Nana had so many questions to ask this lady, so she would be needing somewhere private to talk to her. "Let's go somewhere private," Nana said to her. And the lady nodded. The two of them went to the basement to talk. "So," the woman sneered coldly, "you're the twin sister my mother begged me to find. I spent years looking for you. I expected someone much stronger. But look at you. You are pathetic." Nana shook her head. The cold stone walls seemed to spin around her. "Twin sister? What are you talking about?" "My name is Bella," the assassin said, ignoring Nana's confusion. She walked forward with majestic, arrogant steps, and then removed her mask. She had beautiful fair skin. She had the exact same brown eyes, the exact same nose, and the exact same lips as Nana. It was like looking into a perfect, living mirror. Nana was shocked as she saw Bella's features. "Who are you? Why do you look exactly like me?" Bella laughed coldly at Nana. She reached behind her back. In one lightning-fast move, she pulled out a heavy black gun. She pointed the metal barrel right at Nana's chest. "I told you that if anything happened to Jackson, I will make your life a living hell. I am back to honor my word. Before I kill you, I will do the honor of telling you a little story about how our parents died and how Jackson got involved in the mess. Our real parents were not rich," Bella started. Her voice echoed in the quiet basement. "They were loyal servants to the Ville family. Our father was Mr. Ville's private chauffeur and his best friend. Our mother was a brilliant doctor in Korean traditional medicine. Nana wiped a tear from her cheek, listening to the truth she had wanted for so long. Mr. and Mrs. Ville loved our parents, Bella continued. But Mr. Ville made a terrible mistake. He brought a mistress into the house. A wicked woman who had a son for him. That son was Jake. Nana gasped softly. Jake's mother was the mistress? Mrs. Ville was heartbroken, Bella said, her finger resting heavily on the trigger. She thought her husband was faithful to her, but she never realized that her husband had a mistress, and not only that, he also had the guts to bring her and her son to their home. She packed her bags one dark night. She planned to escape the mansion and take her 10-year-old son, Jackson, with her. Bella's voice broke slightly, but she quickly made it hard again. But Jake's mother found out, Bella whispered. The mistress wanted all the money. She wanted Jake to be the only heir. So, she hired wicked men to ambush Mrs. Ville's car that night. The men shot Mrs. Ville. Nana's eyes went wide with pure horror. Jackson was only 10 years old, Bella said, a single tear falling down her fair cheek. He saw his mother bleeding. He panicked. He jumped into the driver's seat of the car. He could barely reach the pedals. He pressed the gas to escape the bad men and drive his dying mother to the hospital. The truth was finally coming out, and it was heavier than Nana could ever imagine. At that exact same moment, Bella said softly, our mother and father were driving home from a late-night trip. They were driving on that exact same dark, lonely road. Jackson was driving too fast in the dark, Bella said. She aimed the gun closer to Nana's head. He lost control. His car crashed head-on into our parents' car. The crash was massive. Our parents' car rolled over. Nana sobbed loudly, falling forward onto her hands. Jackson survived, Bella whispered, her voice full of dark sorrow. But he watched his mother die. He also felt guilty for colliding with our parents' car, though he didn't know that they were the one in the car. As he got close to the car, he saw our mother creeping out from the car. He rushed to help her. Our father was already dead by then. He wanted to help our mother, but our mother knew that she wouldn't make it, so she told Jackson about her little secret before she died. She told Jackson to find her other daughter, which is you. He made a promise to our mother to find you and also protect you with his life. He was just a terrified 10-year-old boy trying to save his mom. Stop. Everything we thought we knew just got flipped completely upside down. Jackson was 10 years old. He was a frightened child trying to save his dying mother, and he has been carrying that guilt, silently, alone every single day since. He didn't murder Nana's parents. He accidentally crashed into them while running from the men who killed his own mother. And Nana let him die without ever knowing the truth. I need you to answer this in the comments right now. If you were Nana and you found out the truth at this exact moment, what would you do? Could you forgive yourself? Because I genuinely do not know if Nana can come back from this. Chapter 6 is not done yet, and it is already the most devastating thing I have ever written. He lived with that crushing, terrible guilt every single day of his life. He did not murder them, Nana. It was a tragic accident caused by Jake's greedy mother. Bella stepped closer, pressing the cold metal of the gun right against Nana's skin. And you, Bella sneered with pure hatred. You let him die thinking he was a monster. You killed the man I loved with all my heart. Every memory of her childhood, the cold meals, the chores, the parents who never hugged her, finally made sense. She wasn't their daughter. She was their paycheck. Mr. Ville died of a heart attack soon after, Bella said, her eyes darkening. He couldn't live without his wife. That left the mistress in charge. She took everything. She treated Jackson like a slave in his own home. She beat him. She fed him scraps. I was the only one who stayed by his side. Bella's hand was steady on the gun. One night, Jackson couldn't take it anymore. He ran away, and I followed him. We ended up working in a zoo. We spent our nights taming tigers and lions. It was easier than taming the humans who hated us. When the owner died, he had no family, so he left the zoo for Jackson. Bella stepped closer, her shadow falling over Nana. Jackson sold that zoo for millions. He used the money to build his own empire. He became the Mafia lord of the underground, so he could finally take back his father's company. And when he was powerful enough, he went back for the mistress. He tortured Jake's mother until she died. He ended her life for what she did to his family. Nana shivered. The beauty devil she had lived with was a man built from pure pain and revenge. He never stopped looking for you, Nana, Bella hissed. He wanted to find the daughter of the parents he accidentally killed. He wanted to give you the world to make up for the past. But you? You gave him death. Bella's finger tightened on the trigger. Her face was a mask of pure hate. Goodbye, sister, Bella whispered. Click. Nana opened her mouth to beg her to spare her life because of the little baby growing inside her, but just then she heard a familiar voice. Drop the gun, Bella. A new voice rang out in the basement. Nana turned her head. Jake was standing at the end of the hall. He wasn't smiling anymore. He was holding his own gun, and it was pointed straight at Bella's head. Bella turned to look at Jake. She chuckled bitterly. Look at the architect of this whole problem, from the mother to the son, and you still have the guts to show your face here. He is dead, Bella, Jake said, his voice cold and flat. There is no point in killing her now. Let her live with the guilt. That is a much worse punishment. Bella didn't lower her gun for a long time. She stared at Nana, looking at the face that was exactly like her own. Finally, she slowly pulled the gun back and tucked it into her leather jacket. She leaned down, her lips inches from Nana's ear. We will see each other again, Bella whispered, her voice like a poisonous snake. And when we do, I will make sure I am the one who ends your life. Run away while you can, little bird. Bella turned around and walked away. Jake followed her, giving Nana one last, chilling look before the elevator doors closed. Nana was left alone on the cold basement floor. Her husband was dead. Her sister wanted her dead. And the truth had finally set her free, but it had destroyed everything she ever loved. At a secret bar in a remote part of Seoul, two figures talked in secret. Thank you for sparing her life, Jake said to Belle, who was sipping her alcohol with no obvious facial expression. Don't thank me yet, I will still come back for her. I just realized that I could kill two birds with one stone with the plans you came up with. I will have Jackson and you will have Nana. Now that she's at her lowest, make your move now. Make her your woman. I want when Jackson wakes up, he would discover that the woman he fell in love with killed him and married his stepbrother. You don't need to worry about that. The company shares will be mine, now that he's still recovering. By the time he wakes up, both his company and his wife will be mine. I feel bad for Jackson, but he deserved all of this. I loved him unconditionally, but he chose my sister who didn't even suffer with him. He ignored me. I stayed under the rain and sun just to keep him company. But for years all he cared was finding my twin sister. I will never let anyone, not even my twin sister, have him. It would be over my dead body. I am going abroad with him. Jackson will wake up soon. I want him to be in another country by the time he wakes up. Goodbye, Jake. I hope the next time we meet, Nana would not only be married to you, but she would also be carrying your child as well. Jake grinned at Bella and then nodded. He extended his hand to shake her. Best partners ever, Jake said with a smile. And Bella rolled her eyes at him before leaving the bar while leaving Jake's extended hand hanging in the air. I love women who don't have emotions, Jake whispered to himself. Brother, I swore to destroy you when you killed my mother. Wait and see how you will suffer when you finally wake up. Jake murmured to himself, and then he drank the whole wine in his glass. He paid the bartender, and then left to go and execute his carefully made plans. Part 1 ends here. Part 1 is officially over. And I need you to sit with everything that just happened. Jackson is alive, but Bella is taking him out of the country. Nana is pregnant with his child. Jake is closing in on her. And Bella just made a deal to destroy them both. Part 2 of the story is sitting in my drafts right now, and it is darker, more explosive, and more heartbreaking than everything you just watched. But here is the truth, Part 2 only exists if you make it happen. I need at least 20 people to comment Part 2 below right now. And also those 20 people should also subscribe to prove to me that this story was worth hearing. Tell me you're here. Tell me you need to know if Nana finds out Jackson is alive. Tell me you need to know what Jake's next move is. Tell me you need to see Bella and Nana face each other again as sisters. 20 people. That is all I am asking for. If those 20 comments come in, part 2 drops. If they don't, this story ends here forever. Subscribe so you don't miss the moment it goes live. Share this with every single person you know who loves drama. The clock is ticking. Thanks for watching Nana and Jackson's story.